There's another week, another crazy week we had. After I looked at a few things, there's a lot of good data coming in this week. Lots of news. Obviously, the bombing for over the weekend. The bombing is not going to help. I'm pretty sure it's going to help oil, but other than that, I think we're still in a downtrend. Even though we had very significant volume to push, showing that the bottom might be synced in. I still think that because we're below gamma and the same kind of candle happened before, leading into consolidation into distribution lower. Now that took about a month and a half, so obviously, I mean, we might be at the bottom. We definitely are out of the range of the previous year, or the end of the year rather. I mean, we came out, right? So my concern at this very point in time, I just don't worry about the level. I haven't update them yet because it's the weekend. So my concern is POC. POC is pretty low, and that's where the most amount of volume is. So to me, that's a concern. What I'd like to see is price closing above gamma. But because we are looking like the traumas are shut down, right? Like they're not even trying uh, to switch. The fact that when it happened over here, it kind of did gain a bunch of buyers, and then they try to push it into a lower high and then a higher low, and then they try to consolidate it another higher low and leading to a lower high, failed to create a higher high. And then over here, once you see you had a divergence in volume, and then that's when it just tanked. And then once they attempted it, but ultimately what they did is they left clues. These equal highs are not been tested yet. So those equal highs are there's a bunch of liquidity trapped over here, and then this is where the main block of orders have came out this whole time to push higher or to push lower. My concern is that despite the fetch of all this liquidity, there's a potential that we could see a V-shaped reversal and then some kind of like we'd stay in the range, but there's no liquidity. Like, why would they go up there? If they go up there, they're going to go to 25, 100, try to retest here to see if it's solid, and that would be their take profit. But at the same time, I think there's more liquidity down there, as you can see. There's a whole lot more liquidity down there. I don't know why MFI is not showing me blocks like this. Maybe it's just not updated yet since it's the weekend. But technically, the point of control has a shitload of liquidity, and that it's definitely not this. I mean, granted, it could be, but I think the sync has already happened in this. So there's a potential we do go retest and sweep 22,645. That being said, if we do that, then you know it's bottom. But at the same time, because we did reach the quarterly expected move, we might actually continue higher. I do need more data, and I want to see what I want to see is a break above gamma. I want to see a break above gamma. I want to see a lower high, which we had here, because technically we're still in a downtrend, right? There's a series of higher lows and lower highs. And then we had a lower low, a clear lower low with volume. That's fine. That looks like it's a strong close. I mean, clearly it's a strong week. That was on Tuesday. So obviously a nice bullish week. The bulls came in. That's undeniable. They did as well here, right? And then it led into a somewhat decent trend with a market structure break, or technically a change of character that failed, that was very weak, and then it failed, and it just dipped, consolidated, and dipped for a lower low. Um, so that being said, what I want to see for us to be able to get all this liquidity up there and at least retest those equal highs, because those are going to be retested. Like it's not going to be, they're not going to stay there for no reason. So I want to see a higher low inside the range of that bullish pin bar. If we remain within this range, previous day low, and then the next attempt off the higher low will be a break above gamma. If we do break above gamma, there's going to be another lower high, but it's either going to be in this range here. This is a big resistance here. This whole block here is a resistance. So if we do manage to test it and then retest gamma and gamma holds and the hedgers are coming in very heavy bullish volume, then there's going to be a higher high, or at least it's going to go fetch those, and then we are clear to go and fetch all-time high. As far as right now, I don't see it happen. As much as I want it to go higher, it's not what I want, it's what the market wants. I think because the bombing happened over the weekend, we're going to get a nice dip, and then they're going to start selling all these position again and then remain in that range. So we might go test here, and then if we don't have a higher low, we are going to go test the point of control down here at 22,645. There's too much liquidity down there, right? I mean, why would the algo not want that liquidity, even though all these people entered here? There's more here. Why would they not want that? I mean, there's 41 billion that came in off of the retest. The problem is the retest did not create a higher high. That's the problem. That's the only problem I see. And then the fact that the traumas are aiming down, if that 50 crossed the 200, which is likely to do after consolidation for maybe a week or so, it'll be a death cross, and then we lead to a lower low, and then we're fine. We go back up. The quarterly expected move was for last quarter. It's the quarter's over, right? So if they want to start the quarter properly, they're gonna go fetch a lower low, and then the rest of the month will be up to May, June. There's gonna be a back up trend that's gonna try and attempt to retest all-time high, which they may not retest all-time high. It might just go to the equal highs, but at the same time, it's possible. So that's something to watch. To me, there's too much liquidity down there to think that we're done. Um, I'm gonna update the quarterly lows. I'm gonna update the quarterly highs, the monthly low, monthly highs. I'm gonna try and do my best to fetch them to get an idea, because they did work last time, and I'm pretty sure because they are already expected, it's gonna work. So that's something to keep in mind. Other than that, that's the only thing I'm looking at. I do like the idea of, I've been putting a bunch of fucking alerts on this thing, but there's no wick up here, right? There's no wick on the daily up here. That's a bearish Maribozu. That's a massive bearish Maribozu on the daily time frame. So the soybean might actually go down. I mean, they're trying to push it. These are nice mean reversions, and they're not dojis leading into trends, right? Those are clean candle. Even though they keep trying to push it up, it still needs to close above 1170 to be able to have a clear shot at a higher higher price action. Now the issue is it ramped before the war. So as far as right now, I mean, 1148 would be a low. If it breaks lower than that, it's gonna go retest this liquidity down here. It's all down here. Like the entire fucking liquidity is down here, and that's where it came out of multi-year or a year and a half, year-ish consolidation. It is still in a series of higher highs and lower highs, so technically it is still bullish, but that doesn't mean that it can't go back in here or in here to retest those levels and then go higher. The bearish Maribozu is where I'm concerned. It did came back, but look at the trend before it came back to retest the no wick, right? Like it did, but it took a massive short trend to do so. As far as right now, sense. Okay. As far as right now, I do believe that this needs to consolidate a little more and then fetch a lower low and then go. I still think it's going to be correlated to the price of oil because once oil starts going down, they're going to start cutting. Or actually, I'm sorry. If the price of oil keeps going up, they will start cutting the gas with ethanol, 15% ethanol instead of 10%, the usual 10%. That will allow them to cut the price of oil and make profit from um, and still kind of adjust the price of gas at the pump, which obviously people are complaining, right? And they got to find a way to spend spend less oil to make the gas. So what do? You just water it down, technically, right? I mean, it's the same thing as any other product. You just water it down, you can make more from the same amount. It's the same with a bag of chips, right? They fill it up with air. Most like three-quarters of it is air, and then the rest is potato chips. So they're gonna do the exact same thing because they're fucking greedy. So I would expect that. Now, equal lows right here is telling me that yes, this is a valid Maribozu, and then the short could be possible for a retest over here at 1053 once the price kind of balance out. So we'll see what happens. But I do think there's a potential here for a nice trend. Might just be I would put a trend line, a trend line over here, and then trend line over here to kind of look at the range and keep track of the range, but there's a lot of liquidity down there, and there's equal lows that are untouched, so they've all been swept. So I'm pretty sure something like that is going to happen. Gold, gold is not well. It tried to attempt to break the trend line back up, which failed. The thing is with that is that was a clean sweep, and that was a higher low. What we need right now in gold is a break of 48.34. I would say we need to break this right here, 48.889. That would cause an actual change of character into the opposite side, showing a clear sign of buyers. As far as right now, I mean, it did fetch plenty of liquidity, so I would keep my eyes on gold. I don't think it's going to go any lower, but as far as right now, once we're above the trend line, I think this is not going to be a false breakout. Um, other than that, I mean, my trend line is a little fucked up actually. We might actually be above if I do. Yeah, we actually close above if I'm not mistaken. These fucking trend lines. Yeah, we did close above. I don't even know. Could be right here. Yeah, we did close above. Okay, so we did close above. Never mind. We are above, so that means there's probably going to be some upside. I would say 5100, somewhere thereabout. I would be careful, but still 5100 might be a good point to aim at for a lower high. Silver, unfortunately, I wish silver actually held that breaker structure, but they pushed it down too much. There's nothing else. That's a clearing downtrend, series of lower highs and higher lows, leading into a lower low. Obviously, this needs to break above 72.9. These are kind of flat and they're consolidating, so it's clean trend. They're very close, so obviously the trend is not going to break until you get a spike. Once you get the spike, then you're like, okay, cool. That's the end of it. Volume is still pretty decent as far as I can see. I don't think it'll go any lower, but we need a higher high. Like we it needs to go above 90. Once it goes above 90, we're clear. But as far as right now, it's still a downtrend. If this is a lower high, it's going to lead into another lower low until they higher lows and then start fetching. But it could be forming a big inverse head and shoulders. If that's so, then we are going higher. But as far as right now, silver is just consolidating inside a range. It's a pretty big range, but it's still consolidating. Um, Copper. Copper is the one I'm watching the most. I mean, you can see there's a lot of volume. Like, there's a lot of volume. There is a shitload of liquidity. Copper could hold this. Copper might actually go back to 6 because it did fetch all these equal lows. I mean, granted, this might not be a retest. This might not be a retest. It did kind of, I mean, honestly, it could. Yeah, it actually is. Yeah, so it did refetch that. This one here, not to the lowest level, but it did fetch it. I think those are swept. This is a clear sweep leading into another one. This one is definitely not sweep. So there's still plenty of liquidity up here. You can kind of see liquidity is over here, short-sided, but this is all bullish, right? So ultimately, this could be a higher low. If this is a clear higher low, it'll keep going. I mean, granted, 200 T is right here. The spike of volume really showed that it was that the highs. So we really need to consolidate and then try to fetch 5.1 and then start going. But I would expect somewhere there about here and with maybe a wick down here to go and grab some of this. As far as I'm concerned, I keep my eyes on that because at the end of the day, that is that's showing me if the economy is actually doing well or not. But as far as right now, I mean, everything is consolidating. That's a clear downtrend. We need a higher high. We need to close above 20T. Once that happens, we might get more highs. But as far as right now, price needs to catch up. So might be a week to sit on your hands for metal just to get more confirmation of price action. Unless you want to be early, but you could get bit. I would kind of be careful with that. I'm oil. Oil's a fucking madness, right? I mean, this is absolutely crazy. It's still in the range of Monday. The higher highs is still in the range, right? So, but it did create a lower high. I mean, a higher low into a lower high. The breaker structure is somewhat valid because the candle did close above and a retest. So the close on Thursday was very strong, but it is at a resistance. So depending on where we open this Sunday, I think we might open at the highs of 120. Now, as much as I hate to say it, This is where the opportunity is. It's in oil. Oil is hard to trade, but at the same time, that's where the money is. You have no choice. It is not a spike, but that's a valid trend because it did hold in under the 20 VDMA. So until I see a big spike like this, I'm not going to be concerned as far as a retracement. I think we go way higher with oil. Uh, I, I I'd like to say 140, 145 at least to test the previous highs, the long-term structure highs. But at the same time, just keep in mind that oil is where the money is at right now. I am not going to look at any stocks because I just don't feel like there is anything good right now. Uh, I remember seeing something about, was I on the, I can't recall if I was on the daily or the weekly. Might be weekly. Was it the weekly? I think it was the daily. I think. Was it the monthly? No, it can't be monthly. Oh, that's DXY, that's not VIX. Oh yeah, it was the weekly. Or monthly rather. Uh okay, so let's see. Yeah, it's 120 crosses above. Yeah, and it did cross above, and then we had a big spike. Okay, so yeah, daily time frame 20 really has to come back down. It has to come back down below 200T to really give you a full market like back to bullish. As far as right now, I mean, it's just volatile. You can't you can't argue about that. We need to go below 2185 as far as I'm concerned. We might not have another, 30 to 40 spikes, but at the same time, we're not out of the water until we go below 20. Once we're below 20, we're going to be looking at probably some bullish side, but as of right now, just keep in mind that VIX has to go below 20. It's only 3 points, but if oil opens on a rampage, the indices are going to fall. That's just what's going to happen. There's nothing else about it. So I would suggest just be careful and just keep your eyes on VIX. I know Hattie has a bunch of levels for VIX, so just keep your eyes on those. Dollar's just going rampant. Dollar might like honestly, dollar cannot break above 200T. If it does, we're in big trouble. We're gonna kick probably in these levels here. Let's say 101 and then 104. If we do have another strong dollar like we had in the past in 2025, we're gonna be in fucking deep shit. So pray that it's not continuing higher because that's gonna apply a lot of pressure into price action, and it's not gonna be good. It needs to consolidate and start going back down inside these range here, 98, 97, as far as I'm concerned. SPY looks pretty much the same. I mean, there's still equal highs at all-time highs. So, I mean, there's liquidity trap. Like, clearly you can see there's liquidity trap, right? I mean, this is the opposite of NQ, right? I mean, as you can see, all the liquidity is above here. So, as far as I'm concerned, we could go to 667. We could go to 679. But because it is 2250, that I trust. Downtrend potential reversal, then fall again. That's your potential reversal and then fall again. So 667 would be my highs. I would probably start shorting here. So I think we might get a pop, failure to create a higher high, and then a lower low. I mean, there's liquidity here. We are below POC, so it's kind of a like gamble at this point. A bunch of shit here. Turn this off. I have a lot of levels in RL. There's an RL at 580. We did tap RL at 559, old RL from a while ago. We did fetch these, but there's still this, right? So there it is right here. 549. These equal lows are not swept. So I think that's where we're gonna go if we fail the higher high. 590 might be the highs and then fall into 549. So there's equal lows on QQQ, which would align with the fact that NQ all the liquidity is above or below rather at POC. So that aligns with it right here. 22,645, and then those equal those over here at 549. So think about it. It might actually happen that way. We might see uh, we might actually see that. I think we have some more lows coming just because we did sweep only the first one, and then the second one would be the clear entry. I mean, they had to enter here. There was mandatory purchase. The mandatory purchase led into early purchase, but at the same time, that doesn't mean we're gonna go and go straight to 614. I think the market makers are gonna want this first and then go. I mean, there's 73 billion waiting down there. You can see there's 73 billion waiting down there. The fact that we failed at highs, just like if we actually closed above 594, I would be like, okay, cool, we're out of the water, but we're not. We're really not. All it did is fill a gap, and then it just closed Thursday within the range. It just the bodies are clearly below that previous day, and it did not wake above. So I think there's more downside. Honestly, after watching this, I would be wary. So as far as this week, that's what I have. That's what I'm looking at. I don't have anything else for this time being because I'm just worried that there is more downside. The fact that we tapped gamma on ES three fucking times and leading into nothing. It led into nothing. It led to the end of the week. Not enough volume, sure. The spike here, that just shows me. I mean, that's the hourly, I get it, but the spike is still strong, right? At the end of the day, I think that's just it. Like we're looking at lower highs and the bodies are closing below previous range. We need gamma. We need gamma. We might go retest 65, 61 for a for a higher low, but right now we caused the lower high. So keep that in mind, guys. Just be careful this week. Lots of news at the end of the week. Play it smart. Don't go wild at the beginning of the week because shit could go down. Like you could be trapped. If you're trapped, then what are you gonna do? Like you're just gonna give money away. Just wait it out. Wait till it clear signs of buyers and uh, just be careful.